Again, just kind of watching the market. Very, very tight ranges right now here on the market. Again, only thing I trade today, I traded Reddit short earlier this morning. Get out right here, and I like SG. I like SG short. That was pointed up in the room this morning. Still coming in here. Pretty nice short. Jay pointing out Netflix has some serious relative strength after earnings. I had a big move up, and Netflix up about 3% right now. It's pulled back a little bit from the high, but really, really strong. Again, I'm still liking this SG short. SG still coming in a little bit. SPY still pretty flat here. SPY trying to come back in again here now. That's Jeffrey. Hi, thanks. Do I have a target in mind for SG? How do I determine the target? Um, in a market like this, which is which is really so news driven, I tend to take my profits pretty quickly in these things. Um, you got a standard deviation line down right here on SG. So if I was in this short, I would probably be, which I am actually, but I'd be looking to get out pretty soon. Not looking for big moves in SG. If I look at the daily chart on SG, let me switch over to the daily chart. I don't really have a lot of support to worry about right now. That's close by. So let me show the daily chart on SG. All right, so here's SG. See where we're at down. We're down. If we draw a line here, we can see where we're at relative to how far we have to go. You can see we've got some support right down here, right down around that level right there, about 1542, which is still quite a ways down. So I have to, I have to get exact, I'd have to go over and pull it over here. But this is a high volume line here, and so that's going to be a support level right there. And then you've got a big gap in SG. You've got this big gap here between here and here. So if it gets into the gap, you've got some room. But again, on a day like this, we're just waiting to see if there's going to be any news. I'd be taking profits anytime, pretty soon. Anytime I get close to any of these support levels. which is right now 16.49, so about 8 cents down. I would probably be taking profits very quickly here. Again, it could keep on going, but again, we don't have any. The market right now is driven by the news. So retail, the restaurants are weak this morning. Cava is weak. The restaurants chains are pretty weak. So I'd be pulling profits pretty quickly. And how do I determine a target? A lot of it depends on the market. Obviously, the support and resistance levels matter, horizontal as well as moving averages, and market conditions make a big difference. You know, the market's weak, so I've got a little bit of market support, but you can see what the SPY is moving down very, very slowly. So this is not exactly a big flush down. It's just drifting down. You know, in this market right now, with news driven, it's very difficult to hold on to things for very long. Thus, we don't have any swing trades on. Again, I took Reddit for a quick trade this morning. I did take SG here, but again, it's a very slow mover. Determining taking profits is the hardest thing to try to define, because it depends on the market, it depends on the stock, it depends on, you know, the current market conditions, the long-term market conditions. All those things have an impact on what you decide to do, and it's fairly subjective. To me, if I took Reddit, it came right up, came right down to a support level, and I get out. MSTU went right up to a resistance level. I get out. On the daily chart, those were daily support and resistance levels. Those are fairly important. But you've got to take the context of the market. The context of the market means what's it doing right now. So here's the SPY. The context is it's drifting down after a gap down, and we do have a downtrend, but it's not very defined. It's fairly choppy. You know, tiny little candles. All it would take is one little news blurb, and they could wipe out all of these candles on this drop down. Could be wiped out in one big green candle if there was a news come out. That's why I'm very hesitant to stay in things very long right now. And again, market context is very important. You know, what's the SPY doing? What's your stock doing? Looking at the context of what the market's doing currently on the 5-minute chart and on the daily is pretty critical. I'm going to do a video on that called Market Context, and how you have to try to read that as part of your criteria when you're getting into a trade and out of a trade. Really important. And I'm going to pop a video too on a thing called OODA, which is OODA. It's a acronym for observe, orient, decide, and act. It's used by companies and military, etc. Observe would be basically your scans, your watch lists, what stocks are potential to trade, and orient would be to look at the criteria that we use to try to determine if it's a good trade or a mediocre trade or a bad trade. That would be your orient. So you get a list of stocks you want, then you orient into what the market conditions are, what that stock conditions are, all the criteria, and then you decide whether you want to take it. And if you decide, then you act. And it tries to keep you focused on not getting in too quickly, and also not being paralyzed by doing analysis of things. SPY still coming down here. SPY still drifting down. Nothing big. These are small candles. Still weak though. Market's SPY still weak. Triple Q is also weak. Amazon's starting to come back down here a little bit now. Still green on the momentum indicator though for the current time frame. SG, tiny candles, but still a weak, still a short. Low volume in the SPY today, by the way. Only about 15 million shares so far. To compare last Thursday, it traded about 80 million shares. And it's already almost 11:30. SPY still drifting, very drifted. It's very small candles. SG still a good short. Again, the earnings on SG are on 5/8, and the options you have to take are monthly. So you have to take the 5/16, the May 16th. So that means you got to go out past earnings, which means you got to pay a little bit more for them. But it's going to some of that premium is going to be protected because it's going to stay elevated because of the earnings coming up. But you pay more than what that you normally would. But it's still it's a pretty good trade. It doesn't move fast. This thing is going to move slow. So, if you get in, the ones I looked at were the $22 puts for May 16th. $22 puts. They were going for about 5.55. They're about 5.90 now. So they're up about 35 cents. Or $35 if they're on the options actually. piece of toast. How you doing over there?
Good.
Are you scoring?
I'm making work orders from this one.
Oh boy. Excitement never ends.
Okay.
Excitement never ends. Allison get up?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
Sure did.
She was really talking. When she drinks, she really gets talkative.
She's on that Vyvanse.
She says, I'm going to embarrass myself. It's like, embarrass yourself over there? Are you kidding me? With those people.
Nobody will remember.
About a yarn for there. That's your That's Sue's. Yep, he had his cookies. He was happy.
Good. Yep. Started it off.
You kept the log in your start time and stuff?
Started it off. What time is it?
11:30.
Going slow.
How much scoring was it?
Oh, 47 or something. Someone got up and did something.
That's good.
Well, I don't know. Well, I did 29, but it said there were 47, so hopefully you're out.
Members watching these markets, we are seeing continued weakness in many markets across the board.
Yes, they are.
Trump continues to say tariff negotiations going well. Trump touts cars and steel tariffs. This is commentary out by Trump once again.
All right. Yes, I can clean it out. Hey, buddy. All right. So just kind of watch the market again. The SPY drifting down.
Trump says that the U.S. had very good meetings on Iran.
SG still pretty weak here. SG with a little bounce. SPY, no bounce. Still coming down. Took my profits in SG here as it starts to bounce a little bit. This is the daily chart right here I had on it. And again, this was the support level that I detected right here at 1649. Get down to 1642. So I took it off. Could enter it again later. It's still a nice setup. It was on just compressing here. Google coming in a little bit. Netflix trying to bounce back up again. Tiny little candles. Very not a very defined market here this morning. We're definitely bearish. We got a bearish trend for sure. But it's just drifting. T2104 this morning, bearish across the board. Good morning, WMB. I was wondering what my thought on the Groupon long from last week. Would love to learn your thought process managing trades in this market. Yeah, well, managing trades in this market is a huge challenge. Groupon, which was a decent long setup. I'll show you my daily chart on Groupon. All right, so it's long. You can see that it's a long. It's starting to curl back up again here, but still 1847 is support, 1996 is resistance, 1956 was resistance. I'm just trading it inside of this range, looking for it to get back up to around 1950 or so. Again, it's still, it hasn't broken down. It's still above the 8, still above the 15, still above horizontal resistance. So it's nothing I'm going to exit yet. It's by just drifting down to the standard deviation line here. Hit a couple of nice candles and then little candles after that. Again, SG, I'm out of SG. Took profits in SG, took profits in Reddit this morning. And had a nice trade on UPXI pre-market. That was a Momo stock, a momentum stock. It's up huge today. Again, I'm out of it quite a while ago, but it was $3 pre-market this morning, trading at get up as high as 20. Pretty big run. Still up about 600, over 600%. Those are tough to trade. Those Momo stocks. You have to be very careful. You really need to have some experience trading, quite a bit of experience before you should trade those. Trump demands that Powell lower rates.
What?
Trump demands that loser Powell lower rates now. So where's the market?
Interest rates?
Yeah, he wants to lower interest rates.
I demand it.
So what's the market do? It's down 1,000. Trump says, "Oh, the tariff talks are going great." Yeah, we believe you.
Oh yeah. Full of shit. Oh, my piece of shit.
And market's still kind of weak here. Again, still getting Trump attacks on Jay Powell, telling him he demands he lower rates now. They don't want to lower rates because they haven't got inflation under control yet. It's market's not liking this kind of talk. Dow's down 1,000. The little boy. There's that little boy. He's been a good boy. says. SPY still drifting down. Again, I have a support on the SPY right now. The next support on the SPY at 510.27, 510.27. So we're getting down there. It's trading right now at 511.83. SD again. I'm out of SG. Took profits in SG. Took profits in Reddit earlier. It's now coming back down again. Amazon just drifting here. Sorry for my chewing here. Not really much bounce in the SPY here today. A couple of little bitty tiny green candles, but nothing much, just drifting down. Again, SPY right down, like SPY down 2.77% right now. It's pretty significant at this point. It's all starting to add up, and it's still, of course, inside that big candle from a week ago, Wednesday. That was when they paused the tariffs, but definitely bullish here right now. I mean bearish right now. T2104 still coming down consistently all day. And T2104 is what I use for market internals. It's a cumulative volume index on the TC2000 chart that I use for charting. It tells me volume of stocks going up minus volume of stocks going down. And right now we've got a lot more volume of stocks going down than we have stocks going up. You can see the steady down move here in the T2104 today, as opposed to Thursday when we had a nice move up almost all day long in the T2104. This little red line here, red and green line, that's the actual market. So you can see that there's really not much of a divergence. The SPY is coming down and T2104 is coming down. Although it's become T2104 is a little bit more pronounced to the downside than the SPY is. So anyway, bearish. You got to look bearish for right now for trades. The Amazon starting to break down here a little bit now. I'm kind of tempted to take some Amazon puts now. It's got room down to about 161.38. And you got to be very cautious because news can change things very quickly. This is a news-driven market, so don't overstay your welcome in any trades that you take. Amazon trading at 166. Looking at puts on it, so I've got to look. Somewhere around the 170 puts. Okay, taking some Amazon puts. 170 puts expiring this week. It's just a day trade. The Amazon puts, 170 puts. About 590 for those things. So I'm in Amazon. I'm going to post it here. Oops, I don't want that red. These are April 25th. These are this week. April 25th. 170 puts. They're going right now for 575. So I'd say about 580 on these things. We're getting a little bit of a bounce in it right there. So for about 580. Okay, Amazon. Okay, I'm gonna let my dog out. All right, so I'm in Amazon short. Again, I took the this week's 170 puts for 580. What are they now? Yeah, 580 right now. So in Amazon short. I don't really want to put it out as an alert because there's too much news driving the market right now. And this is, hopefully this is going to be a fairly short trade. But it's got room, it has some room to the downside to about 161 and some change, 161.38. Short Amazon. And WMB, would I consider market context when support is broken? Well, yeah, I mean, when support gets broken, again, if I'm looking at the daily chart, I'm only really going to be interested if support's broken by the end of the day. So, you know, if it barely breaks support during the market meltdown, but still is relatively strong, would I still close the trade? It depends. I mean, I'm looking at like the 8 and the 15 or some moving averages. It really depends on the stock itself. I mean, if it's got to good relative strength and it bounces back up above the resistance, the support level, then I'd probably stay in. It's just so dependent on so many conditions. Yeah, William, again, WMB. If you stick with some trades, you took them off. You closed them early because you didn't want to hold on to the losers, but it turns into be a winner. Listen, a lot of trades you take, most trades I take are usually at some point in time are going to be red. I mean, that's just the way the market is. I mean, if you get into some and you catch it right, yeah, it could go green and stay green the whole way. But I'm basing it on the daily chart. So if the daily chart stays bearish, and I'm short, or if it stays bullish and I'm long, I'm going to pretty much stay in that trade. I'm going to give it room, for sure. You're talking about Bristol Myers from last week? Yeah, Bristol Myers from last week. And again, it bounced up, but it never really get close to the 50. You know, Bristol Myers, it's hard to, if you were short Bristol Myers, it's hard for me to see, there was no good reason to get out of this. See the 50 moving right down here? The 15, this is the 8, the 8 exponential moving average moving down. 15 moving down. It's below all the major moving averages. This is a short setup. again, you had a little bit of support right there where we are right now, but there's no reason, there'd be no reason to get out of that short as long as you had enough time on your options before expiration. Right. Dr. Phil, hey, same as the webinar right now. Yeah, basically exactly. This is I put a live feed on YouTube once a day for about an hour or so. I just introduce new people to the room and to the alert service and to the methodology we use, and you know, hopefully we get some folks who would see what we do in the room and see how successful we are, and come on and join. That's what we do. But yeah, it's the same. It's exactly the same thing. You get the same chart right here, same posts. Everything's the same. Shows you the SPY super system we've got right here, which is the software that goes on Thinkorswim. Amazon's still coming down here right now. You can keep an eye on that. Welcome, by the way, Dr. Phil. Appreciate it. Appreciate your being a member. SPY still coming down. It's turning into a fairly bearish day here now. SPY right down now, almost 3%. This is a pretty big drop. 3% of the SPY. Triple Q's down 3.1%, and IWM Russell 2000 down 2.5%. Very weak day in the market. A lot of selling going on right now. Haven't really had much of a bounce. Again, we're short Amazon. This is my Amazon chart right here. See it gap down here this morning. These pink colored candles that I put on TC2000 tells me that not only is it breaking down, but the short, but the Bollinger Bands are expanding. So that means that this is it's broken through a compression, which you can see what it has right here on this horizontal support right there, and it's broke through another one here, and it's got room down to 161.38. So I'll be watching that closely. Again, these expire this week. This is likely going to be a day trade because I just took expirations for Friday. Usually I would go out to next week, but since we're picking it up right at the beginning of the week, I can get them cheaper just by using it this week's. And if the trade goes in my way, I'll have a better ROI on the trade. Again, I took Reddit this morning short. I'm out of it for profit. I took SG short that was called out in the room by one of the members. I'm out of that for profit, and right now I'm on Amazon short right now. What price am I looking to get out? You know, I'm going to watch the momentum on Amazon, Dr. Phil, and see where if it starts to lose momentum and I'm in profits, I'll take it off. I'm looking for it to move down to 161. I don't think it'll get there today, but it's trading at 166.27 right now. You know, if I can get this thing down to about 165 and some change, or a little bit below 165, I'll take it off. Because it'd be right at that point in time. Again, we get in at 580 on Amazon. You have 580. It's still trading at 575 right now, so you can see it's really compressing here. So we need to get a little bit of a flush down. And we'll if it stays long, it stays below the 15 in the VWAP. I'm in the trade. And the daily chart is very bearish, so it's going to take a little bit to get me shaken out of this thing. But you know, I would be looking for it somewhere in the neighborhood of $6.80 to $7 as your sell price on it. Zatiga, bull trap. I don't know what you mean by bull trap. I don't see any bullish setup here that's trying to trap anybody. We're pretty bearish right now. Market's pretty bearish. A bull trap is typically when you get a bounce in the market that people start taking longs on, assuming that the market's going to continue on up, and then it reverses back down again. We don't really have any significant moves to the upside right now. Amazon popped up a little bit, but I mean Amazon's definitely not bullish here. Whoops. Sorry, had my mic off. Somebody asked about if this is a bull trap. No, a bull trap is you get a I don't know if you're talking about Amazon or the market, but you'd be getting a bounce that gets people excited about getting in long, thinking it's going to bounce back up again, and then the reverses head back down again. But there's not enough of a big a bounce here that I would ever consider this a bull trap. We haven't even got to the VWAP on Amazon yet. I assume you're talking about Amazon, not the SPY, which is bouncing a little bit here. Coffee's back.
I'm going to cloud the full week for an hour.
New what?
Full week for an hour
It's gonna be hot, Ruth.
at 2:30. It's too hot,
Zatega, where do I think we are in 2 to 3 months? I don't mean to laugh, but I don't. You know, the market's news driven right now. It's not based. Question from Zatega, where do I think that we are in 2 to 3 months? I'm having a hard time trying to figure out where we're going to be this afternoon. This is a brutal market to try to analyze. I don't do predictions. I mean, you know, do I think the market's a bear market right now? Sure, it's everything's a short setup for the most part. But 2 to 3 months, who knows what the tariffs do? Do they stay on? Do they come off? Does the Fed lower interest rates? Do they raise interest rates? There's way too many things. I don't have any idea. You know, my leanings is the market. It's a bearish market. I'm leaning toward the fact that if the tariffs stay in place, we're going to go into a recession. So that would be bearish on the market. But all of these things can change instantaneously here. And this is why the market's so weak right now. There's way too much uncertainty. There's uncertainty about the markets, about the tariffs. There's uncertainty about the wars. There's uncertainty about the uncertainty about the interest rates, about what the Fed's going to do. All this puts uncertainty into the market. The market does not like uncertainty. It likes to have some, even if it's bad news, they want to at least know if it's true or not. But right now, they have no idea. And this is really tough trading. Swing trading, very, very difficult right now. You work in a supply chain warehouse, so we're getting, yeah, of course. You know, a lot of companies stocked up on inventory before the tariffs went into place. They brought in a bunch of inventory to build that inventory, so they don't have to charge later. I think if the tariffs stay on, the impact is not going to be is dramatic until probably after July, June or July, when the inventory starts to run out. I know there's a company that does selling of refurbished technical equipment like phones, computers, laptops, all that kind of stuff, refurbished and used, and they sell worldwide. But when the tariffs went into effect, their sales tripled in 1 week. So I think you're going to see more consumers buying that kind of stuff if the prices get so high that they don't want to go get new. So that's going to have an impact as well. It's not. Listen, tariffs are not good. We've been through this before. Long time ago in 1932, we had the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act that was put in by Congress. It caused a trade war across the world. It drove the whole world into a depression, and it's just, it doesn't work. But this is what we're faced with right now. So Wilson, we're traders, right? I'm not running an investment service here. This is a trading service. We're trading. We trade the market. Whatever the market's giving us, that's what we trade. We're short. We're long. We try to take advantage of what the market is doing. And with news driven, it makes it much more difficult because from a bearish day to a bullish day can turn around quickly just based on one piece of news, a piece of rumor that comes out. So it's very tricky. So right now you've got to keep your size fairly small. You got to take your profits fairly quickly. Amazon a little bounce. Let's see if it stays below the VWAP. I mean, there's likely to be a little bit of a bounce somewhere along the way here today in the market, just because we've sold off pretty hard here this morning. Simon, am I putting a sell order on Amazon puts? I haven't yet. I would be looking for somewhere around $7 if it gets there, but I got to wait to see what it does. You see, it's bounced up. We're underwater on the thing right now. Williams says the bonded warehouses are filled, zero capacity left on either coast. Yeah, they filled up with pre-tariff supplies. But can't blame them. I mean, they want to have stuff to sell that they're going to be able to sell. And if they got to jack the price up by 20, 30, 40%, it's going to cut down on sales. I mean, it's not really that complicated as far as economics is concerned. Well, Zatega, you think you're trapped because you can sell and get taxed or hold and get. But it depends on what your time frame is on anything that's here. When you talk about investments, when you're looking at investments, typically what I do, I'm in just Vanguard funds. I don't mess around with the stocks, individual stocks for investments. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But when the market is down like this and things move down, I typically put more money into the funds because I can buy them cheaper, and I still believe that the market is 2 years from now is going to be higher than it is now. But again, I don't give investment advice. Again, if you're watching Amazon, I recommend that if you get nervous because you get a bounce in the stock, but you focus on the daily chart. All right, the daily chart is extremely bearish here. You can see that. You can see this big move down. You can see we got a support here, resistance down here, support here, resistance here. We're trading inside that range. There's no reason to get excited. What we're seeing with that bounce right there is this little bitty nub on the bottom of that candlestick. So a lot of traders, they get really nervous when trades go against them, and they bail, and it's in my opinion it's a big mistake. One of the guys on YouTube, he has he's got a supply chain warehouse.
What?
One guy on YouTube, he's got a supply chain warehouse.
Yeah.
He's in the towers going fast. We're being fucked right now.
Oh, how lovely. He doesn't care. He's not gonna back down. No. Especially when you eat this food.
Are you going out now?
No, I'm going outside.
Oh, okay.
Got my own yard to worry about.
Oh yeah, that's right. You get a delivery today?
Yep.
Wow. Looks like shoes of some sort.
Well, got a backup pair of tennis shoes
Oh, good.
because you and I, we both
Yeah,
walk.
I know they wear them down.
Well, we both walk on our heels.
Yeah.
And once they get a certain, I mean, these are the most comfortable shoes. So
You get the same thing again?
pretty much, yeah. That's what I do. And it's like,
Gotta have them.
but if I got them in the store, it'd be like $70, $80.
Oh yeah, easy.
These are like cheaper because they're like, right now they're selling the 17s and
Yeah.
these are 14s. And like every year they change a little bit. They're not as good as the other ones. So I ordered that. It was like under 60.
Shoes are going up.
Yeah, it was under $60 and I depend on it.
All right, so again, just watching the market here. There's Amazon. Got that up because we're in it right now short. You see it bounced right here, back up above the 15. Got above the VWAP briefly, pulled back down again. SPY also bounced a little bit, which is what's moving things up a little bit. Again, we'll see what happens. The market's weak today. It's a pretty big drop on the SPY, 2.7%, and it was almost down 3% earlier. We'll see what kind of a reversal we get here. It's got a long ways to climb up there, and I'm still looking for shorts. Reddit bouncing up. Gold hit an all-time high here today, starting to pull back a little bit. Again, I'm out of SG. I was in this short today, and I was in Reddit short. Took profits in both of those. I said you had UPXI this morning. I traded UPXI as a Momo stock pre-market this morning. Huge move in this thing. And you can see that it's up 600%. Very volatile. I would not recommend trading these kind of stocks. But I've got some folks that are interested in Momo stocks, so I let them know when I see one that could be potential trade. Eric, you have a few questions regarding the alerts? Sure. And I haven't sent very many alerts out lately because we can't do swing trades in this market. That's the problem. We can't do swing trades in this market. So I've had to cut way back on the number of alerts because it's not fair to the alert members to put out a trade that's only going to last half an hour or 45 minutes. I need to have something that I feel is safe to take in overnight if we want to. So there's been very few alerts like that. We had some good winners the last couple of weeks. We had Nike short when the tariffs went into effect, but we had 4 trades on when things got bad. We had 4 trades on, and we made money in all of those things. We had Walmart, we had APLD, we had USB, we had let's see. Yeah, this is when we had Nike, Sarepta, NNE, and AVGO all in 1 week, and these were all really nice wins. You got to take them when you can get them, and you just can't be taking trades wildly. Our objective, as I keep saying, our objective here is not to take trades. Our objective is to make money, and we do that by only taking the highest probability trades. And when you get a market that's just moving on news, it's not moving at anything but news. News is what's driving the market right now. It's very, very difficult to maneuver through, and you got to be very, 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 very careful about the number of trades you take. They should be very few, and you got to be taking profits fairly quickly because they can get reversed very quickly. So that's why I can't really do an awful lot of alerts right now. And if I'm alerting something, if I'm making people not trade, that's the whole point, is not to be trading when the market it doesn't give you any advantage. I mean, you're saving money by not putting trades on that are not going to work. It's pretty simple. I know people don't like it. People want to trade. That's what they're here for. But sometimes the best trade is not to take one, and I have to emphasize that when the market is like this. Buy right up to the 15 here. Momentum moved up pretty nicely there. It was a pretty nice little buying pop here that came in. A lot of stocks popped with it, I'm assuming. Amazon did, Reddit did too. But the market is still bearish. What size should the account be? Well, Eric, it depends on how many trades you're going to take, etc. I mean, the restrictions on traders, if you don't have $25,000 in your account, or you don't have a cash account, you can only do 3 day trades, which would be a trade you get in and out the same day. You can only do 3 of those on every 5-day rolling period. So if you're going to do day trades like we do with the SPY Super System and some of these, like even this trade on Reddit today, or the trade at Amazon today, then you can't really do those unless you have a cash account or over 25,000. But for the swing trades, for the most part, I only put out swing trades that on the alerts that can be held overnight. Now, even if we close them out during the day in the room, you can, if you are under PDT or under day trading rules as far as being a pattern day trader, which means you can only take 3 trades every 5 days, you're able to hold the ones I put out on the alerts. You can hold them overnight. They're all structured so that if you can't day trade them, you can hold them overnight. Doesn't mean they're necessarily going to work, but the day trades, the daily charts are set up so that those things can be swing trades. So what count should you have? I mean, it just depends how many trades you want to take. I don't think it's wise to trade with less than about $10,000 in your account, even for swing trades. And then you don't want to put more than something like that, maybe $500 into a trade or something. But that it's all up to everybody's risk profile, and the amount of money you should put into a trade is dependent upon what the market's doing. In markets like this, which are really, really unpredictable and volatile as heck, and you can't stay in them long, you've got to cut way back down on your sizes. You can't be putting if you put 2,000 into a trade, you probably should be down around 750 or something on the in this kind of a market. You know, I've got a lot of people on you know on the alerts, but they're also. I mean, if you sign up, you get the room. You're in the room as well, and in the room we talk about swing trades. We talk about SPY super system trades, which is intraday trades for trading the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, any of the futures off of the SPY super system methodology that we use, which is using the 15 and the VWAP, etc. You know, I'm using the SPY super system trade right here today. If I look at the SPY. You need the thing that right here would have been a SPY super system entry early on. I didn't take it this early, but there's where it is. Breaking down below the VWAP, momentum is red on the current time frame momentum. That's what you look for. That's where you would take it, and you could take you obviously with switch back to blue. You get out right there on a trade like that. Now it's going back to red. Well, about 12:20 here right now. Getting pretty choppy. The Amazon pulling back down again. it's about 12:25. I've got about 5 more minutes. I'm going to take a break and get something to eat. At that point in time, I'll go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed. I appreciate all the YouTube folks in here today. A lot of folks in here watching today, so I appreciate that. Again, I posted a little link at the very top to a ebook that's out there that I have on basically the biggest mistakes retail traders make. It gives you a link to the room. So look forward to seeing some folks in there. Thanks very much, YouTube folks, for being here today. Again, I'll cut this off in about 5 minutes on YouTube.
On WMT and TGT, Trump to meet with Walmart and Target. Seen some continued strength in Target, TGT, and Walmart, WMT.
Amazon bouncing here. Trump says he's going to meet with Walmart and Target, so I guess that's giving Walmart and Target a bounce. Algo's loving that. I'm sure they're concerned about the tariffs. I just took a quick straddle in Target. Just a quick straddle, 92 push, 92 calls. Just a quick one. I'm not going to post it. It's going to be too quick here, but 92 push, 92 calls, straddle in Target. Again, I took a quick straddle in Target, 92 puts, 92 calls. Pretty expensive actually for the move. It's 442. It's going for about 430 now, but the options spreads are wide, of course, because of this big move. Trump said he's going to meet with Walmart and Target, and of course the algos love it, thinking that that's going to be great news, and we'll see what happens. But I don't care which way it goes, up or down. I don't care if it moves up much higher or much lower. I'll get it covered either way. And Amazon is also bouncing here with the markets bouncing a little bit off of that. Again, this is news driven. That was news. That's news. That's what's moving the market. That's all that's moving the market around right now. Ari. VSTM Biotech just broke through its 100 and it's 50 with relative strength. Options not good, but cheap stock. Okay, VSTM. Yeah, was really pumping up here today. Yep, I get resistance at 632, Ari, 632. VSTM, here's my TC2000 daily on it. What you can see here is this wedge. Algo line here, algo line here. That's the wedge that it's in. It's trying to break out of that wedge right there. Amazon bouncing with the market here, still hasn't gotten to the VWAP. And the SPY trying to bounce as well. And again, I took a straddle on target. 92 puts, 92 calls. Outside? Want to go outside again? I don't have any more cookies. I don't have any more. I don't have anything for you. Nothing. Nothing. I gave you them all this morning. No more cookies. No. All right, about 12:40, I'm going to stop and get some lunch. Oops. About 12:40, I'm going to stop and get some lunch here. And I'm going to go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed. Again, I want to thank everybody from YouTube for being here today. Thanks so much. Jelly Woman wanting thoughts on Hertz. Well, Hertz is, I mean, I had this one last week when Bill Ackman announced he was buying into the trade, into it. He got almost a 20% position in it. It's very bullish. It has earnings on the 24th, so it's got earnings coming up in 3 days. But it's definitely a bullish stock. I'm not going to touch it before earnings. And you know, I just don't, it's too early to touch it like that. Here's my daily chart if you want to see my daily chart on it. Here's my resistance level right there, 780. It's got well above it last week. Now it's back down below. It touched these two support levels here this morning. There's still a pretty big gap from when Bill Ackman bought it here. Again, I had it here when he bought it, and then took profits on a big bump up overnight. But I'd be waiting for earnings on it, to tell you the truth, before I would do anything with it. Definitely bullish stock. All right, everybody. I'm going to shut down YouTube feed. Thanks so much. Thanks, Blake. Appreciate it. And we'll see everybody here. We're back here tomorrow around 11 o'clock to do the YouTube feed. Of course, I've got the room open. I open the room every day at about 9:15. So we're in here all day long, looking at stocks, looking at options, trying to find the best trades, trying to keep people on the straight and narrow instead of taking too many trades. Overtrading is one of the biggest killers to most retail accounts. They take too many trades. We just take high probability trades. When the market's not giving you anything like it has been lately, as far as any consistency, you have to be very prudent about what you take. You don't want to take a lot of trades. You want to take small positions, and you want to take profits pretty quickly. All right, I'll go ahead and do that. Thanks a lot, everybody, and